Grabando.
Well, hello, Mr. Rodriguez. First of all, we know that you're very busy, so thank you so much for sharing your time with us. To begin it with, could you please start by giving us a brief historical background of your company?
Yeah, I work in the oldest newspaper in Spain, ABC. It's a magazine and newspaper of general information, politics, sports, economics, okay, all the matters of actuality in Spain. We are printed in Madrid, and we are 125 years old. We are the third most important newspaper in Spain, and the oldest that is printed in Spain, in Madrid, but not the oldest one in Spain.
Okay, so secondly, we would like you to tell us about how your corporate culture is, whether it is collectivistic or individualistic, horizontal or hierarchical.
Well, as I think that 100% of private enterprise is a hierarchical enterprise where you have to obey it and make the things that you are supposed to do. Okay.
So, moreover, could you tell us something about the dress code?
There is no specific dress code in the newspaper, but if you are an editor, as I am the editor of international section, it is supposed that when I'm going to meet someone that does not belong to the enterprise, like an ambassador that come to visit to ABC, it's supposed that I have to be to wear a suitcase, not tie, okay? And that's what we normally use, but not in all cases. There's not a written dress code, and you can go in the way you want to go, of course, well dressed, educated, and clean. Okay.
Okay. What about?
But we ask to all young people that come as an intern in the summertime, and that not happens all the times.
And what about unwritten rules that govern the workplace?
Excuse me, can you repeat, please?
The unwritten rules that govern the workplace.
Yeah. We are, as I told you, a very old newspaper, and there are no written rules. But in ABC, we all know that we are a newspaper that defends the monarchy, the unity of Spain, the religion, the Catholic religion, and the church as the expression of that religion. And I can tell that we are liberal in economy, but we don't support any political party. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Is there a gap between men and women salaries in your company?
There have never ever been. As long as I've been working there for more than 30 years, there are no gap between the salaries of men or women. I could say that the only gap in the salaries are because if you are junior or you are senior. If you are been working at ABC for 1 year or you have been working for 20 years. So it is supposed that there is a difference in the salary of this kind of journalists, but not because of the sex.
Okay, and another interesting question about this topic. What could you tell us about competitiveness?
No, there are no competitiveness between ourselves, between the journalists that are working at ABC. But we compete very hardly with the rest of the newspaper, especially with El País, El Mundo, and La Razón. If there is a kind of competitive or bad relations or difference between people inside the enterprise, it's a personal thing, a personal matter. It's not because something that we promote to get a better job or a better result.
Okay, and then please give us some advices in order to apply to your company.
If you want to be a good journalist and work in ABC, it is supposed that you have to have a previous experience, have worked before in another media, specific in a written media, in another newspaper. You have to speak English very well, or rather well. You have to read a lot because it is supposed that you need to read a lot if you want to write well and to be a journalist. And you have to apply first to get the master of ABC, before it's the only way to enter the enterprise, The only way is to do the master, except if you are an important journalist that works in another newspaper, you are 35 years old or 40 years old, and you are making a very important work in another media, and we want to get you with us, to make an offer with more money you're receiving. But it's not the case in this time. So.
Okay, and finally, are there any specific tips for the job interview?
Excuse me?
Are there any specific tips for the job interview?
To make a good interview?
Yeah.
To interview or when you're going to make an interview?
When you're going to an interview, if there is any tip you could give us?
To enter in our company.
Yeah.
Well, it is supposed that, as I told you, there is not a dress code, but if you can, you should wear a suitcase and a tie that day, as I did when I made that interview 30 years ago. It is supposed that you have to answer correct, shortly, and sincerely. You have to be sincere all the time. You have to shake the hand of the guy that is making the interview in a firm way, not strong, okay? Because that shows that you are a secure person, okay? And you can be sure that you will have to answer some questions in English.
Okay, sir, so that's all. Thank you so much for your time, and we are glad that we had the chance to meet you, sir.
Thank you all, and good luck in the future, right?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.